Hi y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to work on changing some engine transmission mounts on the Buick. This one is located on the driver's side, and that one you'll see when we get under the car. It's located sort of like in the center of the car. Alright guys, there's the first mount we're going to replace. If you can see the rubber is all starting to come apart. We got 3 bolts on the top. We're gonna have one right here, and then directly across there's one on top, and then one right below it. If you match it up to the new one, we got one there, and one there, and then there's 2 underneath. Two underneath. You'll see them. One in there, and one in there. So there's the mount right there. So let's work on getting this out. Because I just used a 15mm to break the 2 nuts loose. Don't take them out all the way, because you're going to need to loosen the ones up top. So just leave these somewhat in. And then we'll go loosen the ones up top. Also, as you notice, I got the oil pan supported, or the engine I should say, supported from the oil pan. Make sure to use a block of wood. Alright guys, these bolts are a little bit, I mean, if it hasn't been a while, they'll probably rusted in. I found it easier to go underneath the car to get this one. Just loosen it, and then from up top, get the other ones. You'll see it right, you'll see them. 13mm. Let's finish taking these bolts out and get this out of the car. Well, I would say that this one definitely needed replacing. I mean, there's nothing left. It's completely separated from the rubber compared to the new one. And guys, when this comes off, there's this little bracket that separates, I believe it's the power steering lines. So don't forget to put this back on so you can see that the lines go in here to keep them separated. It's a little bit of it was a little tricky to getting it out, finagling it through the lines. But just pull up on it, finagle it through. Now we're gonna put this one in. We'll slide it down into the car, put this bracket back on. See, there's the opening where it goes. And these are the lines I'm talking about right here. These two kind of get in the way. Alright guys, to get it back in was a little bit more of a chore than I thought. As you can see, I jacked up the transmission a bit. You're going to need to move it up at least an inch. Lining up the 2 bolts on my right side, that was a little bit of a chore with that bracket I showed you before. Don't force them in because you don't want to cross thread them. What I noticed that I had to push the bracket a little bit to the left and move the lines to line up with the holes. But once that's in, it's pretty straightforward from there. Make sure you tighten everything up. And we're gonna move on to that one right there now. Alright guys, here's the location of the transmission mount. It's right behind the oil pan, right next to the oil filter. So there's a 13mm bolt on both sides. This one's going to be a little difficult to get to. Might have to use an open end wrench on that side. That's the side facing the passenger tire, and this one is the side facing the driver's side tire. You might have to support the transmission pan again because it looks like it might drop a little bit. So I'm going to loosen these up and I'll come back. Alright guys, here's the transmission mount out of the car. I wanted to show you something, little issue I ran into. Top bolt, you got a 15mm nut on one end. This is the end facing the passenger side, 13 on that side. Towards the front of the car, it's a 13mm bolt which goes into a welded nut. Problem is, this bolt won't come out. This box is the subframe, the bolt hits the subframe. It won't come out. I had to remove this bracket off the transmission. I mean, you can just loosen the bolts and it will wiggle its way out. But I wanted to show you guys it's held in by two 13mm bolts on the transmission side. If you take the bottom one completely out, loosen the top one a bunch, you will be able to finagle the bolt out, but without loosening this bracket, I can't see another way to get this mount completely out. Not sure why GM decided to do it that way, why they couldn't just put it on the other end, the welded nut, make life so much easier, but that's just the way it is. Alright guys, I'm underneath the car. I wanted to show you what I was talking about. Here's that bolt I was talking about. So you can see it hits. So there's a bolt here. There's a bolt above it that you're going to need a really long extension to get to. It's going through the wheel. I noticed this bolt right here. It'll come out, but it's kind of a pain to get back in. I wasn't about to fight it all day. So I literally just took the Dremel, took like 1/8 of an inch off of it, and got it to go back in. I mean, you do what you got to do, but I wasn't about to fight it. Now you just take these, tighten them all up. So you can see here's the welded on nut on this side. Up top is the 13mm bolt, or 13mm head with the 15mm bolt on the other end. And just button it all up, tighten it all down, and you're good to go. I hope this video helps somebody, and I'll see you next time. Bye.